I came in late on this. I was Miss Nakahara, Gina, who will be here eventually, kind of tagged me and said, hey, they're talking about this internet stuff. I am the new admin to our webpage. I don't know a lot about it, but about adminning and stuff. But she kind of tagged me and said, hey, can you do something with this? Can you help them out? And so I started jumping in and trying to join in with the emails, and we were basically trying to figure out what the purpose of this was. There's a lot of great resources out there already, and we were trying to figure out how we could add to those resources without, taking away from or trying to denigrate any of those other things, such as the Chief Delphi and some other places out there that are great wealths of knowledge. So we were kind of bantering back and forth, trying to figure out what the purpose of this whole deal would be. And there was a lot of talk about a book, dead tree, book. And that was kind of how the concept was built. And we were looking into how we could kind of move this on and get something a little stronger, a little better. And there was talks of wikis and Joomba sites, and we kind of were trying to find some sort of system where we could all contribute and have some sort of built-in formatting system that would allow us to get ideas in one place. We, like our team, one of our parents bought us some of the Meacham wheels. And we were like, woo, that's awesome. Now what do we do with them? How do we implement those onto our robot? Like, we know we need a gyroscope and some other junk involved in that. But we need to know which libraries to use, and are the libraries built, and is there some sort of tweaking that needs to be done to those? And
the Mecham wheels?
Huh?
So you're talking about the Mecham?
The Mecham wheels. Yeah, we had a mentor who had been talking about them, and he started calling them Meacham wheels.
Oh. And that's stuck.
And it's stuck on our team. And we've tried to change. We tried to pull out of that, but
I know we did that one year.
We had enough of our team who sticks around each year that we can't get the name straight. We get half the team that calls it one thing, and they're like, huh? And the other half the team we're like, ah! Get it straight. So fancy wheels. But we know there's a lot involved in those. We have them, we want to build them, but what kind of drivetrain do you use? What sensors work best on those? How do we implement? Basically, how do you set these things up and make a running chassis? And everybody has to start from zero, and that's something that I've been fighting in my school system. Like when a new teacher comes in, you guys have probably all felt this in your first year of teaching. You roll into this classroom, and they're like, and go! And you're like, Blackboard. Good. Okay, we'll start there. But I was lucky in that I had my college professor basically said, here's everything I have. Yes, it was a little dated. It was originally done on 35mm slides that he scanned in his computer and basically dropped it into a PowerPoint. I was like, okay, that's something. That's something that I can start with so that I walk in the first day I don't feel overwhelmed. And so we wanted to try to set up something like that to where we can give something or have something available that when you're a rookie team starting out, or even a veteran team who wants to try something new, where do you go to get that information? Yes, you can go to Chief Delphi, and you can dig through the miles and miles and miles of web pages on there. People have great information on there. I mean, it is chock full of awesome stuff, but there is so much stuff there. So we were trying to come up with some sort of primer, okay, some sort of basic knowledge thing, and that's where the tribal knowledge came on. Word of mouth. We're passing this on from one generation to the next to help them along the way. And so we kind of went with the tribal knowledge concept. We're open for concepts. These things can change if you guys are not into the tribal knowledge concepts. It seems to stick. Does anybody have any issue with that or have something else that they'd like to call it? I think it's pretty apt. I think it fits pretty well with the mindset that we're trying to achieve here, where we are a group or a family or a village trying to help each other out. Trying to make ourselves bigger and better through this concept. So we tried different things. We set up a wiki site, we set up a Joomba site, and we kind of kicked the tires to see what we can do with it. And while those gave us a great amount of user flexibility, where we could have lots of editors and managing the site and being able to roll back things when they're not right, and all this sort of stuff. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. But, the formatting was not easy. So there was this giant learning curve that you had to get through on wiki sites as far as how you set up the proper texting, and how you organize the site, and how you make link backs to the new pages that you build. And it seemed cumbersome. It didn't seem like something we could hand to a novice or hand to one of our students even, and say, okay, you figured this out, now go write it up on the site, but first you have to spend 3 days figuring out how to orient this and how to format the page. So Ken came up with this. He's been using this for a while. It's Google Sites. It's free. It's another thing that was mentioned is we didn't want to tie it to any one team. Okay, we didn't want it to be linked to one person or one group. With Google Sites, right now Kent is the head. He is the main guy, but he has it set up to where it's Hampton Roads first at google.com. That if something were to happen in his life where he could no longer manage the site, he could hand that name off to another person to be the admin for that site. Okay, it's not linked to his account personally. He could pass it on. Okay, so we need a site manager, and luckily he has stepped up to take that role. But the way that Google Sites is run, we can grant access. We can build users very quickly and easily. Say, this what we talked about. We met a week ago. Is to essentially start out with one user per team. Okay, so we'll give 2890 will be a user, and if we need more users, like if you have another student who's hardcore into it, wants to manage that site for the team, and you don't want to give them the team user, we can add users, we can take users away very easily. So we're evolving with this. I am not a system admin. Ken is not a system admin. We are kind of hammering through this, so we need your input and your feedback as we move through this, that if you don't feel comfortable with something or you'd like to see something differently, please tell us. We're definitely free to stretch this and try to work it out. So we had a couple of problems from the get-go, and one of those things was managing users. This handles that pretty well. The second thing was formatting. How do we manage the formatting of the site? How do we make it so that everything flows together intelligently, it's accessible, it's searchable, and that there's some sort of structure to it? And like I said, wikis was hard. This works out really well. As long as you use the proper headings, which I'll show you how to do in a little while, it automatically does indexing. It automatically does table of contentsing for you, so that we don't have to actually go back and re-edit any previous pages. They'll link down to the ones that we need, and it makes it a much smoother process. So we can just basically dump the data in and run with it, and you don't have to. There's not a great learning curve. A couple of things. Well, I guess we'll start on the page here. I put together this banner here, and I tried to get everybody's logo in there. I went to one of the sites that he put together already, our community site here. And you can see we have the listing of the teams down here, and we have their locations on the map down here. And each one of these pages is individually buildable. I started to tweak the Hop Collective site down here so that we have more stuff going on it. Of course, my image is not going to work. That's one of the things I'm trying to work out is the linking back to images. I'm having problems with that, but I tried something yesterday, it didn't quite work out. But anyways, all this stuff in here has been edited and modified by me, and will be able to be edited and modified by you as well. And everybody will be able to tweak it and get it going, get it better. That makes me angry if that didn't work out. I hope that's my thing. Awesome. Okay. So it looked good yesterday. But like I said, we're still kicking the tires on this, but we're fairly confident that we can get it to work. One of the biggest problems we had is storage. We know that there are people that are going to want to upload documents, upload code chunks, snippets, pieces, and things like that. And Google Sites does give us 1 gig of storage, okay, and for free. We're trying to do all this for free so that we're not like monetarily tied to, you guys having to chip in $20 a month to maintain a site. And luckily Google allows us to do a lot of that stuff. So what we did is we set up a shared document folder, the Tribal Knowledge shared document folder. Now this is run through Google Docs. Does anybody here use Google Docs with their teams? If you don't, it's fantastic. You should definitely check it out. Some schools, we heard through the emails, have limitations to this. Like they won't let people access the Google Docs. And we understand that's a problem. So I don't know if you can get a specific Google Doc, like, clear.
It's specific, but not general. Like if
Yeah.
you like for me to get to that site, if it isn't already pre-approved by the school, then I have to request it and have it come in.
I had to do that with Chief
For
Delphi.
each individual website that I need to access.
Yeah.
I couldn't access US First. All the links on the side for 3 years. I tried to get them to allow us to open those links. Finally, they did.
Yeah, that's Virginia Beach, really?
No, that's Norfolk.
Norfolk, oh.
Yeah, for my school, it was horrible because I kept calling, going, "Where's these documents you guys keep talking about on Delphi and everywhere?" And well, they're right there on the left-hand side. I'm like, "There's nothing on the left-hand side."
I know not what you speak of.
Just send me the link, and and then maybe I can get there from the actual link. So one of the teams sent me every link to all that.
Yeah.
It was the first 3 years.
So there is going to be a learning curve and a technology curve that some teams are going to have to deal with, and we can do things. Hopefully, like if you for the Tribal Knowledge site, you get the Hampton Roads First.org opened up, and if we see that you have, or you let us know that you have problems with that, we can move those documents over to our site as you list them as we need them, and then maybe that'll help even for something like that. We can help you along the way. But the Google Docs, we set up a shared folder. So if you use the Google Drive system, it's a mountable unit that you can have on your desktop, and you just drop files into it. The way that the Google Docs works out right now, if you want to add something to a particular folder, I know you can just, on the Mac at least, you can just drag it into the window. You can just drag it onto your web page window, and it'll automatically import it, put it into that space, make it shareable, open it up for everybody else to play with. Like as an example, I have here how to make great egg and bacon breakfast balls. I can just add that by dragging it on there. Oh, it's going to go to the instructors page. I don't know why it worked at school. Now, that's weird. It works at school. It's not working here. It definitely does.
Typically, it's hard to do it. So.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah. I'm logged in right. Like I said, there's some learning curve here. This even looks different. Maybe it's because it's going through the mobile site through my phone. Because this site definitely looks different than the way it did before. Anyways, so back to where we were. Tribal Knowledge. So we have a shared folder. We also do have local storage within the website itself, which you see down here at the bottom. Kent's already split it up into a couple of different sections, just so we can keep track of the different things that you can. So if you can't get access to the Google Docs, and you still want to post things onto the page, the Tribal Knowledge has a way for us to save up to 1 gig's worth of data here on the Tribal Knowledge page itself. But there's a quick little walkthrough up here on how to do it, assuming it's working. And like I said, it worked when I did this yesterday. But you can definitely upload stuff through the normal means, where you click the upload button, and then you can, get the regular open dialog box that allows you to do an upload that way. Okay, so that's how we can get documents and stuff like that into here. Let me show you what you do with this stuff once you get it there. I started to kind of flesh out the battery section here. So here we kind of have a table of contents. And this table of contents wasn't individually built. It was built by the pages as we designed them. So this was Kent didn't have to go back and rewrite this. It automatically reflowed or rebuilt itself to these different systems. So originally what was there yesterday, let me go back one, let me show you what I started with yesterday so you can get an idea of what it takes to do this. So here is the, oh wow, he started filling this out too. Look at that. People started fleshing out the page for me already. Holy smoke. Ken's been busy. I guess he felt bad that he couldn't make it today, so he spent some time on it last night. Started counting this stuff out. See if there's programming. I wanted to show you what was originally there, and he's totally snowballed me. There we go. This is that's what I was looking for. Okay, this is the original heading system that we have. As you can see up there, it says first content heading, sub-content heading, and then text for it. And up here at the top, you see how the table of contents page says basically the same things. And over here next to the name, it says H2, H3, and then there's nothing down here. Those are the heading markers that you use in order to make them either show up in the table of contents or not show up in the table of contents. It does the numbering system up here, the 1 and the 1 sub 1, 1 sub 2. It does all that numbering and organizing system for us. So if I were to hit the edit button here at the top, and so we go down here and we say, talk to Rick D. Okay, you want to know how to program in C? Don't talk to Rick D.
You know.
That's Rick Douglas back there. But we changed the formatting of that to be a H2 heading, and now when we save that out, it automatically reflows a table of contents up here to say, talk to Rick D. Okay, and the same thing would happen if I edited the sub-content heading. It would reflow up at the top and make all that happen. That was something that was very important to us, was to have some sort of indexing system, some sort of way of finding the information. Because we understand that with Cheat Delphi, there's a lot of information there, but having to find the right answer right away usually takes a lot of work. Okay, and so we're not here to replace that. That's one of the things we're very, very conscious of, is that we don't want to replace Cheat Delphi. That's not our purpose. We want to give concise answers to specific problems immediately. Okay. Because as a new team, a rookie team, you go through Cheat Delphi and you might get tired of that 40th page. And you're like, okay, let's just try this. Let's just try what's on the 40th page. But on the 120th page is the right answer. Okay? But you have to dig through all that noise to get to the source. So we're going to try to kind of consolidate that. And we're going to need your help to do that. As we were talking about, I believe it was Matt that was saying that you're good at something. Your team is good at something. Okay? What is that? Take that page, take that section of this, and and own it. Okay? Not saying run it, own it, help it, flesh it out, so that our new teams, our rookie teams, have somewhere to start from. They have something that they can start building off of.
Are they also going to be able, the team's going to be able to ask, how do you do this question, see if any of the other teams can gather information?
That is not, we could have a question and answer section. That's something we can add to it.
Cheat Delphi is really the place to do
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, even if we've got a question and somebody knows the link to Chief Delphi, the actual 120th page, and link it up so we can put links in there for Chief, because a lot of us know how to work
we could
Chief
definitely
Delphi
set up a
better
question
than...
and answers page, and that, I think that might be good, just to have a questions and answers page where you say, how do you keep a teacher? How do you find a teacher? How do you use, the Omni wheels? Something like that will, what it will do is it'll show there's a hole in our text. Okay? It'll show that somewhere in here we are missing some content, and that one of the other teams can step up and flush it out.
Right.
Okay? And have that link back to Chief Delphi when needed.
Yeah.
And that's what, one of the things I did on here for to kind of show the formatting and stuff like that. Under batteries, I started to fill out where do you get the batteries from? Well, the obvious source is AndyMark. But you might have, another source. I was looking for bearings, okay, the wheel bearings. And AndyMark does sell them, but they sell them for $5 each. On Amazon, I can get them for less than $2 each if I buy them by 20-pack. Okay? That's a decent savings, and it's not like you ever buy one bearing. Okay? So, it's that type of thing that we can help each other, post that type of information, start to get that type of content put together to improve upon. I mean, that's our purpose, right? We need to make each other bigger, stronger, and faster. Make each other faster, we can keep our rookie teams longer.
Yeah, God knows.
And we don't have to start from zero anymore. So what I'm probably going to do on here is once I get if I start getting feedback from you, I'm going to put together a primer. You said, do we have an email for how to do this? I'll post a little primer on here, like as far as how headings work. Okay, like to ensure that you use your headings properly. And really, it's underneath the formatting stuff. It's pretty intuitive. I figured it out probably about 10 or 15 minutes. But we shouldn't have to have the students do that. We shouldn't have to have the students have to hammer out what's going on. So I'm going to put together like a quick walkthrough on, put your content in here and make sure that your headings are straight. And really, that's all you have to do is make sure your headings are straight. And linking images, linking videos, linking files, that's something that I still need to work out evidently because my batteries didn't work out like I thought they would. And that's a Google Docs issue that I need to figure out. What we need is a central store. We need somewhere that we can dump documents, dump code, dump images, dump video. And the best thing we have for that right now is Google Docs. Our team does have server space. If Google Docs is not working out, we bought 3 years already. We can allocate some of that for a file. I'd like to use Google Docs. Like I said, we'd like to keep it outside of a team. But if it turns out that that's just not working out for the teams, then we'll find another way. This is a learning experience for us. This is a growing experience. So there's going to be some growing pains, but we're going to work it out. We're going to make it happen. And if any of you guys have suggestions or ideas, please don't hesitate to bring them up, because that's what this is all about. That's what this whole summit's about. It's about sharing ideas, getting out of our silos. We have lots of great ideas. We work things out. We are not football teams. We don't have to keep our playbook secret. Okay? The whole purpose of this is to share and become a bigger, better organization, not just a bigger, better team, because when our teams grow, our organization grows. When our organization grows, then everybody benefits. And we're here for the kids. That's the end answer, is if we're not helping the kids, we're wasting our time. So we want to help all the kids and make it a better world. So first thing you do is, if you guys have a graphic or a logo or an image, throw that in the Tribal Knowledge site, or send a link, or send me an email, or send me a link to that, so I can update our totem poles here and get those things pretty. I did make affiliate links on the shared documents file. Actually, if you go to these right here, there's some movies that you can add to your website. Like our website, we have some link backs here. Like I said, we're just starting to. I just set this up for us to play with. This little thing over here in the corner. Okay, it's just to give some information to other people, other teams, that we are part of a bigger organization, that we want to share our info, not just with the Hampton Roads teams, but anybody else that swings by the Triple Helix site, they'll see that we are doing more. We're trying to spread that out. So if you click on that, it'll take you back to the U.S. First, the Hampton Roads First, and we can kind of grow that up. I mean, this is about us, but it's not about just us. Okay, we're going to be building it out. We're going to be fleshing it out. We're going to be making it bigger and stronger. But other people can definitely look back to us, look back to this stuff that we're doing here and say, oh, so that's how you do that. Or that's the way that you can, that's what you use for your promotions. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. So it is us, but we're trying to be big, bigger than us. Okay. Any questions for me?
Do we have access to this now? Can we start adding stuff? Or do we need passwords or something?
We need to set up users.
Okay.
And so I would also need a user from each team. To just a start user. If you want to set up a separate, if you're going to do a tribal knowledge at triplehelix.com, so that you can give that to your team, and they can all edit it. Or if you want to have, Topher Slater at, CPS schools, whatever, okay, you can do that as well. Just it depends on how you feel about your team and who you want to be your lead on that. Like I said, if you have a student, John Smith at yahoo.com wants to be the editor, you tell us, we'll make it happen, and then John can get it. Okay.
Do we just send you an email?
Kent. Send Kent the email.
That's not here. That's punishment.
Yes. No.
That's the Slater I know.
Yeah. We'll get one on there.
Yeah.
We'll get a prominent link for him. But if you send it to, I think admin at Hampton Road first. Let me double check. I'll put a prominent link on here for granting access. In the primer section, when I write the how-to, one of the first things I'll put up there is, in order to get access, send email with name and password to. Okay. And it's not that I push things off to him. He's the admin, and I don't have access to grant users. Okay. That's all it is.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, thanks for your efforts on this, Chris. This is great. I think this is